if you on planet Earth, you know who Benzino is, right?
Man.
But every guest we have, we like to take a walk with the guest.
For sure.
So we're not going to stay on it too long, pause, but we going to make sure that we do what we usually do.
Gotcha.
Okay. So take us back. Who is Benzino, let's say in high school? Are you the class clown? Are you the bully? Are you the smart kid? Like what's going on with you back then?
You know, I was the hustler. You know what I'm saying? I went right into high school. You know, I came out the house probably like 12, 13. My dad was like heavy in the streets. So, he kind of got me in the street life early.
Tito.
Yep, Tito.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We call him Schnapps. You know, so when I got to high school, I was already kind of in the street doing my 1-2, my hustling. So, you know, I hit the ground running once I got into high school. I used to, I remember I would have like, you know, I would roll up 100 joints. And I would give, there was like I had 7 guys in 7 different high schools.
Damn.
Give them 100 and they bring back 70 and keep 30. That was,
oh shit.
so that was like my first.
Yeah. He was like, go son.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, if I could say that, if the one word can come to me when I got to high school was hustler, you know, I was always, you know, pretty for my age, pretty, you know, basically bright. I want to call it as far as book smart, you know.
Right.
Could do all the work, but was distracted, as most of us are, you know, like, you know, none of us kind of go in school dumb.
Right.
It's just that there's so many distractions of growing up in the hood and stuff. So, but,
right.
you know, my main thing was just hustling, you know, the work wasn't so difficult, but as long as I could hustle in school, I was good.
So I know your pops was there. Was your mom's around too? Were they?
Yeah. My mom was, you know, she wasn't with the street stuff, you know, like it's kind of crazy because my dad was super street.
Right.
Super, like.
So he was official
in the
gangster.
fine world. Yeah. You know? And then my mother was a hardworking Cape Verdean woman who just, I don't even know how they got together because, yeah, man.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, man. You know, my mom's a Catholic woman. And, yeah, man, it just real kind of like, business. Really, you know what I'm saying? She didn't play around too much, you know.
Right. But, any, brothers, sisters? You had 2 sisters?
I got, well, you know, I'm my only child from my mother and father.
Oh, damn.
Right. But I got 2 sisters on my mother's side and about 10 to 12 that I know of on my father's side.
Damn.
Yeah, Schnapps, man. Schnapps was something.
Damn.
Man.
You know all of them? You know all?
No, I met, it's funny because I met half of them probably like, when I was about 18, and my father was like, look, I need to, and it was funny because my sister April, I had went to summer school with her and didn't even know she was my sister. My father said, well, yeah, I want to introduce you to your sister April. And then I went and met her. She was working at CVS. And I was like, then we looking at each other like, man, we know each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? My little brother Porky on my father's side, he just came home. So, you know what I'm saying? Salute to Pork.
Welcome home, Pork.
For sure.
That's in Boston, right?
Yeah, the Bloody Bean, man. Roxbury, Dorchester. You know, I mean, we started Roxbury, South End, but Boston, that's where I'm from, for sure.
Now, every time I think of Boston, like, I always think of, like, it being wild out there and, like, crazy racism. Is it like that for real?
Absolutely.
'Cause that's what whenever I see Boston, I think of that. Like, I don't even want to go over there.
You just hit it right on the nail. You know, it's wild. The hoods of Boston are wild, but it's definitely one of them, not just racist cities, I think, like in the North, but in the whole country. Racist. Because you got to realize, you know, Boston it's an old, you know, it was probably one of the first incorporated cities and towns in America, you know. So that's old money. That's where the Pilgrims came and Plymouth Rock, you know.
Right.
The whole, yeah, man, you know, remember Plymouth Rock landed on us.
Right.
Landed on us.
The crazy thing is that in Plymouth, when you go there, the Rock is there, right?
Really?
But it, you know, I remember because when we was kids, like in, 4th grade, 5th grade, 3rd grade, they would take us to Plymouth Plantation.
Oh, shit.
This was like every year. This was one of our, what do you call it? When you go, you know, on your school trips, your field trip.
Right.
And it was like this huge area, like a little town where everybody kind of like were pilgrims. They were like reenacting it. So, you know, the Rock is there. It's like a little small rock right by the water or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, they got you know, Plymouth is, I mean, Boston's a racist city. There's no question about it.
Damn. So did you go through racism yourself as a kid? Like,
yeah, man.
Calling you nigga and all that?
Yeah, all that. It was segregated. You know, in Boston in the 70s, you know, I'll be 60 in July. So, I got to live. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, dog.
What are you eating?
I appreciate it.
Right?
They just, yeah, man. I just try to stay in shape.
I didn't know you was that.
But like, I got to see the 70s and the 70s in Boston. You know, when you're watching TV and you're watching like the civil rights movement, most of the stuff that you're watching with the guys fighting and
the water
hoses, that's usually in black and white.
Right.
So in Boston, it was segregated. You know, you're Irish, you're over here, you're Italian here, you're Jewish here, and there's black here. Black Boston, I would say it expanded, but you want to say it was like anywhere from 15 to 20 mile radius is black Boston. Dorchester, Roxbury, South End, Mission, Jamaica Plain. But the thing about Boston was there was busing and they want to take kids out of the hoods and send them to the good schools. You know, just take some black kids and bust them out to the good schools so that they can experience good schools. If you put busing in Boston, you're going to see in the 70s in color where they was taking kids going to schools. They would have to get police escorts because when the buses would ride through them little communities, it'd be like 2,000-3,000 people trying to throw rocks at the buses. Little 5-year-old kids sticking up middle fingers. Like they was breeding them kids to be racist. It's all on YouTube now. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because it's in color.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and the thing is people really didn't know that. They didn't really know how racist Boston was. When you see Boston, you think about Boston, you might look at a Celtics game. All you see is white people.
Right. You
don't even see black people. A lot of people didn't even really know that there was a hood up there.
Right.
But they do that on purpose. Like they keep all the crime and all the killings kind of out the newspapers because that's not what they want their city to represent. And yeah, man. But you know, I mean, you know, you get caught in South Boston late night, man. You know, you're gonna get jumped. You're gonna get beat up. You could get killed. Same thing though, if they get
caught over
in our spot. It would be the same thing. Yeah. Like, so, I got my first year of high school. We was in kind of like a little race war. I got stabbed, on the bus.
9th grade.
Yep. 9th grade. I ended up getting kicked out and,
you got kicked out because you got stabbed?
Boston Tech. Yeah. Well, I just remember it was a bunch of us and the buses we got on. This wasn't the yellow ones. It was the regular buses, the MBTA. So I remember the first day, there was a bunch of white guys, a bunch of us, and then we got into a fight. The next day, these dudes got on the bus and they had knives. They was ready. And dude had nunchucks. You ever see us? Nunchucks? Remember the nunchucks?
Yeah. Oh, no, like,
yes. It was
like,
they had so much different brass knuckles, all kinds of shit.
Ninja Turtles.
We was caught off guard, bro. And you know what I'm saying? I got stabbed and it was like my first time, like really catching a bad one. I had been chased, but never necessarily been caught. And that was like the first time that, you know, so we all, not just we got kicked out, the white kids got kicked out.
Okay.
Yeah, man, it was an experience. If it wasn't for my father and me dealing with the guys that the Italian guys, the mob, the Irish mob, I would have probably had a really, really worse look on white people because once I started working with him and, he got locked up and he would send me, then I would be doing work for him and I'm working with these guys. And I had a really great relationship with these men and these men kind of helped raise me.
Right.
So if it wasn't for like the crime aspect of my life dealing with white people, I would have thought all white people were racist.
Right.
Cause in Boston, that's how you
That's how it was.